find it difficult to focus on your customers and even your own employees as you're juggling numerous vendors? Do you have more meetings with vendors than you can count? And do their reports filled with technical jargon make you feel clueless and frustrated? Such is the story of Nathan. Being at a car dealership, he's concerned about his store's digital marketing presence and invests most of his time dealing with vendors to promote his business and gain more sales and market share. Nathan is busy handling reports and reviewing them, not knowing what is happening on the advertising front and about his true ROI. Poor Nathan is worried but can't figure out a solution until he found BZ Consultants Group. BZ Consultants stepped in and was able to take the digital marketing vendor burden off Nathan's plate, giving him peace of mind that the best interest of the dealer was always top of mind. Being an unbiased third party, BZ Consultants always made sure to relay the reports in easy, relatable, and actionable ways so that Nathan could best utilize the data. Now, Nathan can focus on what he really wanted, the customer experience and growth. By being your digital marketing business partner, BZ Consultants Group will remove the hassle of trying to hold your vendors accountable and increase your productivity with the time you will now have armed with true data. Together, we make it possible because your success is our goal.
Welcome into Facts Not Feelings, and we are doing the first of I'll say the new format where I have got my now I'll say my new best friend now, Stephen Moore, the CEO and co-founder of Culture Booster. And if you did not catch the awesome episode that dropped yesterday, why didn't you? First off, I mean, go check it out, Stephen. I had the incredible opportunity to interview him, and we talked all about how culture is misunderstood. And we're going to unpack that conversation today and talk about what our main takeaways were and are. A little bit of past and present tests there, a little bit there, Stephen. And as we talk about it, we all want to know as well as we talk all about this, what your main takeaways were as well. So, Stephen, for those that maybe are just joining us, or for those that maybe, oh crap, Brooke, we didn't know about this new format, let's talk a little bit about how culture is misunderstood and some of your main takeaways about the episode that just dropped yesterday. As we do that, actually, before we can, we got Russell Hill coming in here saying good day to both of us. Let's recap. Let's do this. So, Stephen, I'm kicking it over to you. Let's do this.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. As you know, I always like to start with gratitude. And then a quick segue. You have the coolest opening music in the world.
Thank you.
Top of my head is really cool, and love your B-roll too. Yes. So yeah, I really loved our conversation. You're so good at your craft. You just made our time easy. We're talking about misconceptions of culture. I really think the biggest takeaway that I want your listeners to know is how it's defined. If we can get crystal clear on the definition of culture, and it's not the soft stuff, it's not the stuff reserved for HR, it's not the stuff that is meant and designed for the office. It's actually all about, and it centers your operations. How does your organization, what is their approach to reaching their goal? If we can get crystal clear on that it's operational, that's when we can start to measure and hold us accountable to our culture, just like we do the other matrix, like CSI, like we do financial, penetration for contracts, BSC contracts, all, gap, all of that. If we can do that same thing for our culture, we can achieve some amazing results.
And I love that. Like, as we broke it all down, like I'm just listening to you speak, you're trying to, as a host, like pay attention, keep the conversation going. And all I can think about is, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to rewatch this episode multiple times because there were so many stats you were throwing down. And you're going back and doing editing. And I go, okay, minute 7, minute 9. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many quotes and stats you were throwing down. And one of the many, many things that I took away from it was the fact that you're measuring burnout, like how that as a business owner, if I could actually see that, oh wow, little Billy over here and little Kim over here. Well, little Kim, now we're having rappers on the show now. You all didn't know that's going to happen. We do have little Kim on the show now. Is that I can see that, man, their attention's being diverted. Hey, no, they're getting burnout over here. we need to step back. And because I know how much it's going to cost to bring on a new employee, probably don't want to do that. So if I can keep and retain and keep my employees happy, and while, okay, maybe it's not my job per se to keep them happy, but if I know that I'm going to invest in them, and not just by monetarily, but also because, hey, wait a second, finding out their why, what makes them tick, and investing in them, and actually, call me crazy, but actually caring about my employees and not just stroking a check and be like, hey, we bought an award, so you must want to work here. We had, as the comments were rolling in yesterday, someone had put about how much they loved where they worked, and it was the Black Widow. I was going to say Black Widow magic, Black Widow tinting or something like that. And I just go, that's the key right there. Like, they're so proud to be where they're working that they're like, look how awesome my company is. And that, when you have people that are screaming from the rooftops how excited they are, that right there, that's amazing. So I loved, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but I thought it was so great to see that in action. And Peter's going here, true fact, invest and retain. Yes, I'd much rather be with the company that, hey, our employees have been here for 20 years versus just a revolving door because we can't keep anybody there. Fleming Ford has I love her phrase of just retreading. We just keep retreading the same employees, and they just keep going around like, what are we doing?
That's right.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to talk about that at all, or just to go on to your next one. I'll
No,
leave it
no,
in.
no. I love it. So in terms of our burnout, that's actually our secret sauce. I think that's what we do better than anyone else in the marketplace. And we stumbled upon it. We knew that we wanted to track it, but we didn't know the relationship between sentiment level of the organization, like the person from Black Imagery. How do they feel? Would they recommend their employer as a great place to work? And then their stress level. And what we found was when you combine the two together and you plot them, you can identify blips, which will alert you as a manager to say, hey, I need to offer support. We don't need to be counselors, but we do need to be coaches. And a great coach has a good feel for where their team members are at and how they're experiencing the organization and what adjustments they can make. Just like a good coach can make adjustments when a different formation is called. Great coaches in work environments, they know how to call that audible. They know when to step in and offer that support.
And I love the fact that, like, we've done a lot of shows on culture and leadership and mentorship, and how even with that, we're able to take a different turn on there. And I love that you're like, hey, it's so often misunderstood, and it's not the soft stuff. And I know you mentioned that, and talking about like, hey, if we don't invest now, and it might not be as, it's not the sexy stuff. And it's not like, hey, I want to go. I'm like, hey, let's work on culture. This is awesome. HR, boom. Yeah, this is super, super sexy. And it doesn't sound super sexy, but I'll tell you what, the ROI on it is astronomical, because not only are your people staying, that means that your consumers are also staying, because when you invest in this, your people are happy,
Right.
which means I'm going to gravitate to not only buy from you, but I'm also going to gravitate to be like, hey, why are your people so happy? I might be in the market for a new job, and why yeah, I want to go work for that company because I can see myself working there because they're happy. I remember I was in the process of moving out to Chicago, and I walked into a dealership, and I just go, that feels different here. Now I know we're facts, not feelings, but I knew that something was different there. And I walked in, I wasn't treated as a number, and they actually happened to be a client of mine. I just go, I'm either going to end up working here someday, or I'm going to buy a car here. Now they actually did offer me a job, but I ended up buying a car there as well. I just go, it was just something so differently, and top
Yeah.
on down, it was just the precedent was set that this is how the organization is going to be. Everything's going to be run there. And Peter's saying most organizations will train only. Great ones will add coaching. 23% lift from training and 88% from training and coaching. And you threw down some incredible stats on the show yesterday. So I'm gonna tee this over to you on some of these stats that you're throwing down yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. But I love the focus on coaching, and that's something that we facilitate through our platform. There's all sorts of different leadership styles. You can be autocratic, which is effective in certain situations. You can be democratic, which is effective in certain situations. You can be a pace setter, which is a lot of people think that that's the best approach. but actually the most effective to getting your team to where they need to go is coaching. And coaching is the best way to get engagement. I want to share. It's not a stat, but just an acronym to help your team members know what the value is of engagement, and it's called ICE. When you have engaged employees, you have employees who are involved, so they show up, they get involved, they're committed, so they're going to stay loyal to you regardless of what offers they have in the marketplace, and they're enthusiastic, and so they bring excellence to their work. It's not just a get to when they do tasks, but it's a got to. It's not, excuse me, not a got to, but it's a get to. There we go.
I heard. I get you. I get you.
So ICE is a great acronym, and it shows up in phenomenal ways. And I love. I will share that stat that we shared yesterday about the expense of turnover. It's costly. My math was off yesterday, but if, let's say, for instance, you have a 4,000 employee dealer group, right? And you turn over 20% of that, right? So that's 800 people that are leaving your organization on an annual basis. You multiply that conservatively by $10,000. That's a whole lot of money. And so that's what's at stake for your operations is focusing on your EEI. You do a good job of focusing on CSI, monitoring that. Focus on your EEI, and you can't do it just once a year. There's seasonality shifts, there's workload variance, all of those things come into play. You need to survey at a just right amount. We recommend either trimester basis or quarterly basis to get a pulse on your organization's levels.
I love it. And Brian, I'm glad that you beat me to this because I knew somebody was going to be like ice basis. So Brian, thank you for this. And I'm going to go off the rails here for a little bit, and I'm doing this to my own show, so it's okay because I checked with the host and she said it was okay. So, so everyone knows I'm a bit of a sports junkie, and this is going back to my high school days of varsity basketball. And we had it was like everything went haywire. The lights went out, and we are like waiting for the game couldn't get started. And one of my teammates grabs the mic and full out does Ice Baby and just a cappella, just full out does the entire song. It was, and when I love the song, but it was pretty. And we were at the biggest, our two schools would always go to state. We always would rival them, who would take on state. So anytime I hear that, so thank you, Brian, for that. I have the entire song going through my head now. So thank you for that. We've got Jordan saying, I get the feelings every time I talk to Brian Ortega. My question with that, Jordan, is it Brian Ortega you get the feelings for, or for Tito, who is the cousin of Cirillo and with the bald head now? I'm just curious, which version of Brian are you getting? We've got Russell saying here, people, product, and profits, and the most important of which are your people, culture, and culture. And Brian is saying, all my feelings we've got in here. Russell also saying, I wish people really understood that true turnover is so costly.
Right.
It costs so much money to bring on a new employee. Going off the rails, do it. Yes. Well, that happens. And then we got the bald emoji coming in from Brian Ortega here. And Jordan is saying, Tito hits me in the feels too. Well, there's multiple Titos. We can have Tito's a person or Tito's in our cup. One of the two. We got all sort Tito's.
And so now you're in. It causes a domino effect. So then the people that do remain, they have to pick up the slack. Now there's not enough salespeople to manage those customers that are coming in the door, and so it has this domino effect when you lose team members. And so I think dealers and leadership teams need to really examine, the cost and the proactive approach to addressing it, which is monitoring your EEI levels and your performance. And I got just the tool that can do that.
And I happen to know someone over to my other side here that does a really kick-ass job with, as it turns out. So with that, I'm actually going to, since you teed it up pretty well, right here is where you can find, there we go. Other side here. Everything's turned around there. There we go. We can connect with Stephen right here.
Absolutely.
And that perfectly. So Stephen, for those that are listening now and are watching now, how can they get in touch with you if they're like, hey, we want to take our organization to the next level, or we can monitor where the burnout is. Hey, I need to invest in our culture and our people and make sure that we do actually have a good culture versus, I don't know if I have a culture. How can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. Just go to culturebooster.com. We have a requested demo. I know many of you are curious. We'd love to show you what the platform offers. Culture Boosters, 6 tools that work in harmony to improve employee experiences, your engagement level, and also your performance management, all in one hub. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. I try to be as relevant as possible, share some tips and strategies and tools that will help you to be more effective leaders and to manage your culture in new and innovative ways. And so thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So normally, like, when we bring people on, we do the lightning round. We already did the lightning round. So the most pressing question is, what are you watching right now? Are you watching a TV show? Are you watching are you going to Barbieheimer right now? Like, what are you most excited to watch, either movie or TV show right now?
We are the Peaky Blinders.
I'll take it, man.
Tommy Shelby is the man. Yes, that is no, it's my favorite show on Netflix. If you're not watching the Peaky Blinders, check it out. It is entertaining. Yeah, it's fun. It's great TV.
It is. It's awesome. So my question: are you going to see Oppenheimer? Are you doing Barbieheimer? Or are you doing? We've got Jordan Cox coming in here saying Barbieheimer, and, and I actually don't fret, little ones. I have a post coming soon, because you all know that I am a sports person. Yes, the only Barbie I've ever had, you all are going to see later on, probably today. So are you doing Barbieheimer? Are you doing Oppenheimer? What are we doing here?
I'm a girl dad, so there's gonna be some pink. I'm gonna be rocking. Take my daughters. Yeah, I think we're going this week. So yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right, so before we close the show, I am going to put this up here for anyone that has not already following Facts Not Feelings. Because the new format, the show is dropping on Thursday, which means that to consume the show, and then Friday we're bringing back the guests. So up here you've got the QR code. Scan this bad boy, and that will, however you want to consume it, whether it's video format, whether that's podcast format. Check it out beforehand. So we'll be bringing back on the guests on Fridays, and we're trying. I've got a couple of names. So those that are still on the show at this point, we're thinking of different names for this like, still it's Facts Not Feelings, but for this quick show that's 15, 20 minutes here. Last name's obviously Furnace here. So we're thinking like Fiery Furnace, maybe Into the Furnace, but that might get turned into something a little bit different. So I actually pulled back on that one a little bit, because my brain went a different direction on that one. So we're trying to think of like fun things. So I'll put a poll up on get some feedback on some fun ideas on what we want to call this segment here. But with that, Stephen, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for the key takeaways. I super appreciate it. Everyone that's chimed in here. We got Jordan, Brian, Peter, Russell. I think I got everyone here that chimed in here on this shortened episode. I super appreciate it. Stephen, anything else you'd like to add before we sign off here?
Oh, I just want to say gratitude. Thank you so much, Brooke, for the opportunity to be on your show. And let's just be kind to each other. I'm reminded of these Snoopy characters that I have. I look at them each day, and I forget the name of this character, but he plays the piano. And then there's I don't know why I'm losing their names, but this
Lucy,
girl,
is that Lucy?
Lucy, that's right, Lucy. And Lucy's always complaining, and he's making this beautiful music, and Lucy's not there. But let's be Snoopy. Let's be those people that dance to the music. And no matter what your craft is, just keep playing your music. You're gonna find your audience. You're gonna find your tribe. Just keep getting better every day, and you'll find the people that flow with your rhythm. So thank you so much, Brooke, for the opportunity.
You took the words out of my mouth. As we all know, I sign off every single episode with just find a way to serve today, whether that is a kind smile, whether that is open a door for someone. This world needs more kindness in it and more selflessness in it. So just find a way to be the joy in someone's life today. And with that, everyone, we will see everybody next week.